Hey team, and welcome to the Whaka 100 podcast for 2026, season 5, and the third in this series. I'm your host, Richard Greer from TeamCPNZ, and in this podcast, we talked to Amelie Mackay, who came second in the 100K elite category last year. Yep, it's time to talk to one of the elites in the New Zealand mountain biking scene currently. She's raced the World Cup circuit and recently back from racing in Korea for the XCO Mountain Bike World Cup, and is potentially just looking to jump on a plane again and head to Europe. Amelia is one of the up-and-comers. She won the Pool Gun Scholarship, which is an annual development program launched at the Whaka 100 mountain bike marathon to honour passionate local rider Paul Gunn, and which was part of her award last year. So pretty excited to talk to Amelie and I guess see how she does things, how she prepares, how she races, and what she is looking forward to in the Whaka 100 this year. TeamCPNZ specialise in supporting riders to have an awesome Whaka 100, and this podcast is part of that support for you. Alongside this podcast, we also deliver 3 weekly group Zwift sessions and personalised coaching support for the event. We've been working with the Whaka 100 for a number of years now, and over that time we've built up an intimate knowledge of what's required for all levels of riders, from the fast ones looking to be competitive to those that are just trying to see if they can complete the event. So without further ado, let's rip into this podcast, and hopefully this will help you achieve your Whaka 100 goals. Let's bring Amelie onto the stage. Amelie, how are you getting on today?
Hello, I'm good. I'm enjoying the sunshine at the moment, actually. Quite nice.
How good. That was one of my first questions, actually. What do you do for winter? Do you swan away to America or Europe and ride in the sun, or do you have to deal with a bit of indoor training, a bit of mud, and a bit of darkness?
No, I'm having to deal with the latter at the moment. But I will be, that said, I will be jetting off to Europe again. But this is my first winter in 4 years, I think, which is kind of insane. It's crazy. So my flatmates have been giving me a bit of stick because I've been going around saying it's absolutely freezing, and they're going, no, it's not that cold. But so I'm having to suffer a little bit. But honestly, I'm full serious, all honesty, I'm actually really enjoying it. I'm enjoying winter. So
good job. As we record this, for those that are listening, Amelie is not in 3-down jacket. She's currently sitting in a t-shirt by the looks of things. So obviously you're doing all right.
We're going okay. It's quite warm in my house at the moment, actually. Yeah. I'm not sure why. It's a little bit. It doesn't seem very wintry, but.
Good. That's awesome. So whereabouts you're based, Amelie, and what are your favourite trails? Where do you tend to ride when you're home?
I'm based in Christchurch in Canterbury, so in the lovely South Island, and had beautiful -4 temperatures the other day, and now clearly we've got the opposite. But I love riding in Vic Park. I haven't done too many trails in there at the moment because they've been quite wet. But the Vic Park, the Adventure Park. I'm also a big fan of the trails up around Mount Pleasant. That's very cool around that area. It's so natural, and I think in the South Island we've got a lot of rocks. There's a lot of rocky terrain, which I really enjoy. So it's quite fun to get out when the weather plays ball.
Yeah, this is a good question. This is good, actually. Like we talk a lot about Rotorua and the forest and the tree roots and things, but maybe those that are coming from Australia probably, and definitely the Port Hills and Christchurch as the main training zones. How do you find riding in Rotorua compared to that sort of rocky, volcanic sort of nature of the Port Hills? How do you find that transition? What are some, how do you find that, and then what are some things to do to help yourself?
I kind of love it. I love the fact that, because I don't ride those trails very often, especially in Rotorua. I mean, I go up there maybe once or twice a year, and that's usually for the Whaka. So it's quite exciting. You get to test yourself on different terrain, and I find that a good challenge. It's nice, and you can, because I ride here all the time, I can test myself against, different trails that are new to me or that I've ridden a handful of times. And in terms of preparing for that, Victoria Park is quite rooty, so just kind of sliding around and maybe just finding something new, trying a new line on a trail that I've ridden 1,000 times, or going there with someone else and having a play, just having fun, really. No, I love going up to Rotorua and riding those trails and just getting a different feel for something a bit new. I don't even think I've ridden all the trails in Whakarewarewa. I
Yeah,
genuinely
yeah,
don't.
yeah,
There's so much to explore, and honestly, that's what makes it fun.
100%. And how many times have you done the Waka 100 or 50 now? What's your background?
So I've officially raced the Whaka twice.
Yes.
Um, but in, I believe it was 2021, I think Cam Jones kind of dubbed it the Mocha 100 because that was COVID year and
Yeah.
unfortunately it couldn't go ahead. So, but a few
Yeah.
of us went out and rode around, did the 100K. So I knew what I was getting in for, but I just
Yeah.
wasn't racing it as such. And I did the 50K in 2020.
Hmm.
Yeah, so that was
Yeah.
my first kind of foray into the Whaka world.
Nice.
Yeah.
When you turned up and rode it, sort of raced it the first time, the Waka 100, the Waka 100 is a step up from the Waka 50, both obviously distance, but also the technical nature of the course. We talked about coming from the Port Hills and then riding new trails that you haven't really ridden before. Was there anything that scared you? Was there anything that you sort of thought, holy moly, what is this about? Should we be riding this? Where's the ambulance?
I
Or were you
don't
pretty into
think so.
control? Like, were you like, oh, it's pretty dialed. It wasn't that hard.
It was definitely hard. I think the hardest thing for me though is keeping your head. So when you're going, you're riding 100Ks, you're trying to go as hard as you can for that period of time, and not not mentally losing yourself, especially on some of those descents, because you'll go so hard on the uphills, and I mean there's 3,000 meters of elevation.
Mm.
So, and then heading into some of those descents, I know, is it Kung Fu Walrus around the other side when you get into the trees and it's quite rooty and a little bit technical, and
Yeah.
through there and you're already, you're breathing hard and you're like, oh my goodness, like I just need a nice descent to kind of just rein in my breathing. And
Yeah.
but in some places you really can't do that, and I think that's part of the technical element for me, is really trying to maintain your breathing and your posture and sort of your mental balance while you're doing that in the middle of the race is the hardest aspect for me. So I definitely think the trails kind of go up a grade, especially when you're in that position. So
Mm-hmm. Yeah, it's about trying to feel the flow, isn't it? Without trying, because there's a point that you're pushing because you're racing and you're fizzed up, but also there's a point that can tip, and you can't race too much. Do you find yourself not trying to race certain things just because you've got to get down at one piece? How do you manage that side of it?
I think definitely the descents, especially when I don't know the trails potentially as well as some other people do. It's a matter of maybe trying to find someone to follow that does know the trails, or really picking my line well. I think that's, especially when we were talking earlier just about the trails and about how I go from here in Christchurch to the different trails in Rotorua, is line choice, definitely line choice. So having the background knowledge that I do of being able to really quickly pick a line that I know is going to work for me, and also the amount of weight that I'm carrying on my back, because I will usually ride the Whaka self-supported with my own pack, and I've got all my food, and juggling that while also trying to pick the best line. I'm a big believer in not just barreling over stuff. I think you've got to be intentional with placement, and that's something my boyfriend's drilled into me.
That's good to have some feedback and get some sort of honest feedback along those lines. Do you practice? Do you go out and session certain things because of that technical nature of riding a mountain bike? How do you do that?
Yes.
Or do you just kind of ride your mountain bike and obviously you're training on the up and you'll ride the down? Or do you actually go out specifically, we're going to do skills today?
No, I go out specifically for skills. I think there's something about learning those baseline sort of foundational aspects that is just so important. And I've actually, I didn't grow up really riding flats that much. I transitioned to clips quite soon after I started training. And so going back to the basics, putting flats on my mountain bike and just mucking around and actually, learning how to bunny hop properly without pulling
good.
up on my clips, and
Yep.
choosing lines that, may look a little different to the ones that I'm used to. Just that sort of thing. It's a constant process of learning, which
Yep.
is just so cool. I think if you love the sport and if you love learning, just
Okay,
get
good.
out there and give it a crack. Even, some people don't even know they're doing it, but just get out on your bike and have a muck around. And I think that's so cool.
Do you put the knee, elbow pads, full face helmet, and push send down the downhill trails, down the adventure park, or something along those lines? Is that a bit of you?
Yes. Yeah, that is a bit of me.
Oh, that's so good. Yeah. And
I'm actually going to go and do that this afternoon if the weather holds up. So
perfect. Okay. Good. I was going to ask worst injury, but maybe I won't. Maybe we'll just gloss over that. I'm sure you're bouncy and fine.
Yeah, touch wood. Not much so far. I have had 2 concussions, and that was both overseas. But no. Yeah,
you're good. You'll be good.
The table's wooden. I'm touching that currently.
Yeah, I am too, for you as well. Tell us a little bit about your what are we now? We're heading into 2026. Your 2025 Whaka 100 race. Second, pretty awesome performance. Tell us about how that went, and maybe also what you learnt from that and what you may do differently going forward. So tell us a little bit about your race.
When we started, I genuinely was going, I don't think I can hold this pace. I was kind of internally having a little panic because I think my heart rate was up around 175, 180 already. And we were, half an hour in, and I was going, oh my goodness, these girls are so fast. I don't think I can properly hang on. So it was kind of a battle. It was definitely a mental battle as well as a physical one. And I mean, I just stepped off a plane from Europe 4 days prior.
Wow.
And then heading back up to Rotorua to go and race. I was pretty excited, actually. It was one of the races that I was most excited about on my calendar. But yeah, those first initial 30 Ks, I was like, oh goodness, what have I signed up for? But I think I overheard some of the commentators saying it was one of the closest Whaka races they've had in a while. So I think Mary broke away at about 60 kilometers, and I went, well, I'm just going to try. And go with it. And
so you're riding in a group then, because it's tricky because you're riding with the whole field and there's all sorts of athletes all over the place. So it's hard to kind of spot who your competition is. Were you riding kind of relatively together, were you?
Yes. Yeah. So I think there were 4 of us.
Oh, right.
4 of us girls, and we were together all the way up until that point. And I mean, it's so cool riding with people in that sort of way. But it's also a little bit pressuring. You're like, oh goodness, I don't know who's going to make the first move and what's going to happen. What's this going to end out like? Is someone going to bonk? Who's, what's going to happen? But yeah, Mary made a break for it, and I went, okay, well, I'm feeling strong, so I might try and catch up with her. Maybe we can ride this thing together. And I ended up catching her on one of the descents, and then we rode Pondy Elevator together and up towards, what's the trail at the top called? Split Ends?
Yep, that's right. Yep.
Yeah, up towards there. But she just got me there, man. I think next time I would definitely feel a little bit more. But that was my pinch. That was where she got me in. I had a couple of people behind me, and honestly, I sounded like I was dying. I was going up that hill, I was going my absolute hardest, and there's this guy behind me, and he's going, you've got just this little bit of single track, and then we're at the top, and you've got the descent, and you'll be okay, just keep going. And I was going along, breathing so hard, like, oh no, I don't think I can catch her, I don't think I can do this. But pretty much that latter half of the race was me. I was like, I need to try and put a target on Mary to try and catch her and try and finish the race. But I think we ended up in the end being like a minute and a half apart, which It's crazy. That's a crazy time over 6 hours.
Yep.
That's wild.
Yep.
But
It is, isn't it?
I definitely think so. I was gunning for about, I think 90 grams of carbs per hour is what I planned and what I had. But honestly, I think I would do more next time.
Yep.
Sammy gave me some of these gels that I believe had about 60 grams of carbs in them. And
Yep.
on the packet, it says, do not take more than 2 of these in a ride.
Yep.
And I kind of had read that and been like, oh, okay.
Yep.
So I think I only had 2 of them, but honestly, I could have done maybe two more.
Right.
Yeah.
Eat them like
I think
lollies,
that would
get
be
stuck
the
into
go.
those things.
Yeah,
I get
exactly.
it's a balance though, isn't it, with nutrition and of making sure you don't have a stomach upset too. That's the balancing act. Have you played with that
100%.
higher level of nutrition intake, I guess, in other races or other sort of training rides or anything like that?
A little bit, just kind of figuring out what works and what doesn't. So I had a mixture actually in the Whaka. I had some dried mango, I had some M's Power Bars, I had lollies, I had drink mix. I think one of my drink mixes had maybe 120, 150 grams of carbs in a 750 ml bottle, which when you think about it, that's crazy. Yeah, I felt like I was drinking icing sugar, but it worked. So
okay. You've got to mix it up with some extra water though, don't you? Because it becomes too much.
Yes.
If it's just that stuff.
I found I had carb mix in most of my bottles, and then I had water in my Camelback, and so I think that was a good ratio. So both my drink bottles were quite strong, but then I had the water in the pack to kind of counteract that. But it is training your stomach. It's part of an eating game.
You've got to eat to support it. 100%. Yeah, that's good. So just to summarize, key things that you learnt were the pacing,
pacing, fueling more, and I think still learning on the line choice front. You can never stop learning with those skills.
That's right. 100%. Cool to hear that, like, you, like, Mary went away, but you keep fighting, you keep battling, you keep tried to be the hunter to finish that off. Like it's those mental skills, isn't it? As you're getting deep, when you're pretty vulnerable at that stage. Let's be honest. You've done a lot by that stage. You're getting pretty tired. So to keep fighting and keep doing your best it's hard at that stage, isn't it?
Yes, definitely. Especially when you get to Pondy Elevator. I remember my dad talking about that climb, and so he'd done the Whaka 100 before me. And he's saying, it's Pondy Elevator. It's Pondy Elevator, man. You'll get there and you'll just start wishing that you were somewhere else. And he said, you just got to keep going. You just got to get up it, get into a good gear and just grind through it and get to the top. He's like, it's short, but it's punchy, but you can do it. Yes. I just keep thinking about that. And you're like, okay, well, I'm really in the deep end right now, but it's not going to last, and then I'm going to get to the top, and then I'm going to have the biggest downhill of my life. So we'll be good.
Yes. How good. That's awesome. So by knowing where you are on course makes a big difference to you, doesn't it? In terms of how you're pacing yourself and just trying to, I guess, deal with that hurt locker, because you were deep in that hurt locker at that stage, weren't you?
Very much so. Yeah. I actually, now that you mention it, I actually wrote out kilometer markers with trail markers to go, this is what K is this trail, this is what K this trail's at, and worked through it like that, so that I had a checklist. I had a physical checklist, and I taped it to my top chair. And so every now and then I could look down and be like, okay, I've crossed this off. I'm this deep into the race. Okay, I've crossed this off, and go through it that way. And that mental checklist helped me so much. It's like, okay, I've gone through these, I've done that. Now I've just got to get through this bit. And then now I've just got to get through this bit. And that was so helpful. It was so helpful. That was the first time that I'd actually actioned something like that. But genuinely, that really helped. I think I also wrote, the climbs in, some of the main climbs. and what K they were at, because
Perfect.
having that knowledge of this is where I can really push it versus this is maybe where I should button back a little bit just because I know what's coming. That was so helpful. Would
Absolutely.
recommend.
I totally agree. I've done the same thing. Probably helps if you know the forest like the back of your hand, it's probably slightly easier. But I still think just having the list so you can actually say I'm over halfway because I've ticked those first half of them off. I think even that makes a difference, even if you do know it really well. But for me, I like that vert, what's the actual height of the top of the hill? What am I at now? I've got 300 vertical meters to climb. Okay, we've got to settle in here, but rather than I can push over the top and start bombing down split ends soon. So let's push here a little bit. I think that's awesome. It's a really good tip for all of us to use, and cool to hear that someone like yourself at the top of the field is playing with that, I guess, both mentally, but also from your pacing strategy as well.
It's definitely a good thing to have, I think, because in the middle of the course, you've got those two massive climbs, and just knowing what comes before it and what comes after it is so useful.
One of the things, like we do a bunch of coaching for people for this event, and one of the things that often comes up is cramp. Do you deal with cramp as an elite athlete? Is that a thing, or have we trained ourselves to actually not have to deal with that?
Not often.
Right.
No, I didn't get any cramp actually this past Whaka. My boyfriend did though. My partner did, and he took a cramp stop gel from someone out on the course who'd been kind enough to give him one. But no, I haven't really played with that ball of fire very much, but my butt definitely gets sore, so I would highly recommend good chamois cream and good bib shorts. But
good
no,
advice.
I did feel like my legs were heading a cramping sort of way at some points.
Twingy,
yeah, particularly in my quads and my calves. But just standing up off my pedals in regular intervals and really controlling my breathing, I think really helps. So just really focusing on your breath intake and the way your stomach is moving and how you're getting air in, so you can take air into the upper part of your lungs, or you can take it deeper, and being able to take it deeper and kind of almost embrace the hurt, I guess. It helps quite a lot, but just making sure your nutrition is good too, and having that salt uptake and enough glycogen to fuel your muscles, I think is so helpful in that situation.
And as an elite, like the training that you do is often a lot more than your standard middle of the pack type person, and we do often get quite excited early on, whereas you're used to that. You're used to racing the XCO series and used to racing hard. So that's all part of it too. But quite cool to hear you talk about breathing. To be honest, breathing for me is I'm just breathing through my eyeballs, whatever. I'm just breathing as much as I possibly can. So quite interesting to even think that you're thinking about that too, like just to be able to relax and control and manage yourself.
Especially in the descents too, getting back under control and taking a deep breath and going, it's okay, I'm okay. I'm here in the now, this is what's going on, and I just need to focus on the trail, let myself breathe. And that's where I kind of don't go full hundies on the descents, because I know that I need to give my body that recovery. I did, however, go full hundies on the split ends descent, because I was like, no, I got to catch Mary. I've got to catch Mary. And so through down there, I was on one, but I don't really know if that helped for all of the little uphills and sort of undulations that came after that.
That's right. But that's right. You've got to go. You've got to back yourself. You're better off going down in a blaze of glory rather than die wondering, aren't you?
Oh, 100%. Exactly.
Yeah.
So I don't think I could have gone any harder, to be honest.
Perfect. And that's the thing at the end of the day, isn't it? If you can say at the end of it that I did my best and I left it all out there, hey, the position is the place. The placing is what it is. That's what it's all about.
Oh, 100%. And I said at the end of my race, I got asked, I think, how do you feel after this? You just come second, and you and Mary were kind of vying for the title. And I mean, yes, it is national champs, but I remember saying, I feel like I've already won because that weekend was just such a success in the first place. My partner was with me. He was racing the Whaka for the first time. That's a win in my eyes. And the fact that, I got emerging rider of the year with Paul Gunn, that was completely unexpected for me, completely unexpected. And I just felt so grateful, to be given these opportunities, and I'm not gonna take that for granted. And my body can do some pretty cool things.
Yep, it
And
certainly can.
it's overall, it's a complete win. Yeah.
So good. Tell us a little bit about that Paul Gunn scholarship. That's a pretty cool thing. It's given to a under 23 rider. That there's a male and female award that's given out each year. What does that mean to you, and how has it helped with your riding?
It's given me a new appreciation for riding, for the sport, and for how it not only affects you and the people around you, but people wider than that too, the whole community. And being able to meet Paul Gunn's family was so cool. That was such an honor, and I still see them, pop up on Facebook from time to time. They're still following my journey, which I think,
good.
That means a lot to me. That's special, but it's, it's helped me make connections with others, with their family, able to help younger people in the mountain biking world, which is so, so cool. And just I think the scholarship was a couple of grand or something, which is that helped me get to the World Cup in South Korea.
Amazing.
And it's just, it just brings opportunities, but it's still all about having fun. And so having fun and not taking for granted the things and the people around you, which
and opportunities.
It's so important. And I loved meeting Paul's family and his kids, and that was such a cool experience. Very
that's
cool
great.
Experience.
Paul Gunn was a local rider, multi-sport athlete, triathlete who died suddenly. I think he was around 53, something like that. And and obviously they give that scholarship up to sort of pass his legacy on and keep his story alive. And pretty cool to be able to, for you to honor that, and fun for the family to think of that. That's like directly towards you getting to that World Cup. How did that go? How did the World Cup race in Korea go?
I don't think genuinely in all my years of racing that I've raced a muddier race. I don't think I needed to do more running training, man. Far out.
Oh no.
It was so crazy. But it was a lot of fun. I've never ever been to Korea. I mean, I don't think many people have, and I don't think many people have had the opportunity to race in a place like that. I mean, it was just incredible. And to have, I think it was the first Asian World Cup in 20 years or something.
Wow. Okay.
So to get the opportunity to go and race there was just phenomenal. And the whole week, it was absolutely beautiful. It was colder than I expected, though, definitely. I went over there and I said, they're a bit closer to the equator than us. I think, if I bring some T-shirts and some shorts, it'll be fine. And I think we got there and it was about 5 degrees. And I went,
okay. Winters, what are they? Yeah.
Oh, it's, quite fresh.
Yeah.
It was beautiful. The sun was out every single day apart from race day, which is a classic. That's a good one for a World Cup. But
yes.
They ended up, I think, shortening the course a little bit for the morning races. And then as the day went on, opened up the course a little bit more. But you just couldn't ride the uphills. They were completely unrideable. Where you could ride the first section, so you went through the start-finish gate and then up through there. But you just had to jump off your bike, and it was a bit of a slip and slide, to be honest. I think Wynn was on one of the first descents, which I don't know if anyone's seen, but you go down this chute. It was quite a steep chute, and then you hit a really hard left-hand corner. It was chaos going down, especially on the first lap. Everyone was
Okay.
off their
All
bike,
together.
running, sliding on their butts,
Slipping,
going down
sliding,
this
yeah.
hill, and then you jump on your bike after the corner, ride the next maybe 100 meters before you're jumping off your bike again and running.
Yeah.
It was crazy, but
Yeah.
the fans were so cool. It was amazing to see so many people out there, especially even in that weather. And it was just exciting. And I went in with no expectations. This is my first ever Elite World Cup. I've
Yeah.
made the step up now. I've made the jump. And
Yeah.
I just wanted to enjoy it. I told myself, look, the result doesn't matter.
Mm-hmm.
If you enjoy the process and enjoy this moment, I think you've got enough out of it, and
Perfect.
enjoy the culture, the atmosphere. When's the next time you're going to be in South Korea?
And Amelie, if the Whaka 100 was muddy, we talked about Korea being, it sounds like diabolically muddy. How would you cope with that? Is there anything that you've learnt from kind of managing the mud, and maybe any advice you might give to others?
I think in that situation, if, say, the Whaka was as diabolically muddy as Korea was, I think you've just got to go out there and take it as it comes and just have fun with it. Just play around, honestly. And
Yep.
It's also, if you're being careful, please be careful, but it's a good chance to play around in conditions that you might not get the chance to play around in very often. And I mean, especially for me, since the tracks are closed usually when it's wet, especially in Vic Park, I don't really get the chance to ride on wet routes very much. And
Yep.
using that as a training exercise, how cool is that? You can go out there and just be like, oh, what happens if I, maybe take this corner a little janky, and you might end up with a little bit of an adrenaline rush, but as long as you're being careful.
Yeah, that's right. That's right.
Yeah, just have fun, play around, have no
Yep.
expectations of yourself. And
Yeah.
I think it's so important to go in with no expectations. You might have a time goal, but ultimately, how is that going to make you feel or affect you mentally in the long run? If you maybe don't end up meeting that, but the conditions also weren't to your benefit. So
Yep.
kind of weighing up, having those goals is great, but how is that going to make me feel if I don't meet them? And maybe you can adjust the goalposts based
Yep.
on the weather and the terrain and how you're feeling on the day. And ultimately, you're trying to protect yourself mentally and physically. And so, yeah, having those ways that you can make things fun, keep it fun. I mean, riding in the rain is awesome. I love it.
100%.
It's great.
Yeah, it's good. I started mountain biking in Dunedin, so I feel like I've got that base of understanding what mud and rain and chaos sort of feels like. And I think there's two tips I'd give for if it is muddy: is take some chain lead with you, because your chain will love you for it. Splash a bit of that around, and the other one is just try and keep over top of your tires. There's the leaning over corners becomes harder and harder. Otherwise, you're just going to get washed out, and all of a sudden you're upside down. I really like your chat about expectations. Expectations can just kill the fun, can't it? If we've got these time goals, I want to do this particular thing. It's good to have to keep you motivated in your training, but at the end of the day, you're just going to be able to do your best. So in terms of that, as an elite athlete, as a competitor, as somebody that wants to ideally win, how do you manage that expectation of yourself and others, I guess?
Yeah, I am still learning. I'm still learning. I definitely am the kind of person that if something isn't quite going right, say with my body or my health, I'm still very inclined to keep pushing with my training, because I want to be the best that I can be and the best athlete that I can be. But sometimes that just does mean taking a bit of a step back, and it's still something that I'm learning how to do. And I think it's important that you do learn how to do that. But I also know, in the long run, how is this going to make me feel? How is
Yep.
this going to benefit or harm, me and my relationships around me and my life as an athlete, because that's the
Yep.
goal, right? Is to stay as healthy and, as fit as possible. And that's the aim. But how you get there, everyone looks different. And I think comparisons too, you can't compare yourself to other people. You're on a completely different path and you're at different points. And there's no point in comparison's the thief of joy, right?
100%, exactly right. I think that when you start having expectations, you start thinking about the finish line too much, the end, what it could look like at the end, rather than staying more process driven and in the moment. I think that's something. Whereas if you're just trying to do your best now, and at the end of the race, you can say yourself, like you did, I did the best I could. Well, then that's where as you say, the joy comes from, is that stuff, and the satisfaction comes from.
Oh, 100%.
So, it is an interesting thing. But as humans, naturally, we do compare ourselves and to our times. The thing is with the Whaka is that it could rain, it could be sunny, it could be dry. The course could be longer or shorter. So times get pretty tricky to actually be able to manage, don't they?
Exactly. Yeah, I think the times that I have raced the Whaka, the weather's actually been pretty good. So I'm quite grateful for that, actually. But enjoying the process, massive. I had to relearn how to enjoy the process after becoming sick in 2024. I had long COVID and just recovered from my eating disorder. And I was suddenly, not where I was before, and learning to actually enjoy the process and going in with no expectations. I noticed that my results were even better when I went in with no expectations of myself. And just not putting that pressure on me, I think, is so important. Keep it fun, no pressure, low stakes. It's just
100%.
a World Cup. It's just the Whaka. What's going to happen?
So good. At the end of the day, you've got a good story to tell, haven't you? And I think like an event like the Whaka, because it is so long, you can't there's only the longer an event gets, the more spaced out the times that you can actually race are or push yourself further, because otherwise you end up cooking yourself. So at the end of the day, you've just got to ride your own race, don't you? And 100%. Then you'll do your best at the finish line.
I think having markers is good. So being like, I might, you can even compete against yourself, what time can I do up Pondy Elevator, without absolutely roasting yourself for the rest of the race. But I feel like, how fast can I get from, the bottom to like where the road starts? Just something like that. Something to, I guess you can hold yourself accountable, but you can make it fun. And if the descents are your friend, like I saw someone out there on an enduro bike and he's having the time of his life. But, if you're out there and you're like, I'm going to try and see if I can get the KOM down this trail, do it. Just have some fun with it.
Sounds like you might have gone one of the quickest split ends descents on last year's events. What are you most
peddly?
What are you most looking forward to turning up to the event again this year? What's your what makes the Whaka 100 so special for you?
The people in the community, hands down. When you said that question, that's what was going through my head. And I think it's so cool to see the amount of people and the tents and the businesses and the community that just showed up last year. That was so cool. That was incredible. Walking into there and go, oh my goodness, there's so many more people here supporting the event than there has been in past years, and going around and talking to all of those people and making connections and just meeting other people who are in it for the love of the sport is so cool. It is fantastic. And I think it's so important to have, and it's such a foundation of the Whaka is the people and the community.
Yep. The vibes. Just enjoy riding bikes. You're about to jump on a plane to head to Europe. You're going to ride some amazing trails, have an amazing experience, etc. And then you're going to come back and you're going to ride the Whaka. I've got two questions for you. First one is, I guess, what's the goal for Europe? What are you kind of aiming for while you're away? And the second question, since you only got home 4 days before the Whaka this year. Is it a similar schedule, or you've got a little bit more leeway this time?
No, I have a lot more leeway. I get back in the middle of September, so we've got time.
Okay, good.
And
Yep.
my aims for Europe, do my best. I just want to do my best. I want to race healthy. I want to know that I've gone as hard as I could and done the best that I can with what I've had.
Mm-hmm.
And I think that's my aim.
Cool.
Yeah.
That's awesome. How do we follow your journey? How do we follow you while you're away and you're riding?
You can follow my Instagram on my socials, and which is Amelie Mack, so AME1IEMAC is my Instagram, and
Perfect.
Amelie Mackay MTB on Facebook. But I'm actually also going to start a YouTube channel while I'm away, so got to tune in for some vlogs. It's just going to be under my name, so Amelie Mackay. But yeah, I've decided that I really want to show what it's like being a privateer in that situation. You see all these videos from the big World Cup teams, and like, this is our athlete getting ready for this race, and but then there's me, and I've slept in my car for a week. I've cooked all my meals. I've cleaned my own bike. I've done my own sort of mechanicking and upkeep on my bike, and I've organized my own accommodation. I've organized my visas. I've organized all of this sort of stuff. I've driven 7 hours to get there, and nobody really shows that. And so that's kind of what I set out to do last year, but I'm really excited to kind of capture that in a longer format.
Amazing. I look forward to that. It's so good to share your journey and get the inside word of what you're feeling and thinking and experiencing along the way via that. So, hey, thank you so much for joining us. It's been awesome to chat. It's been great to connect. It's been fantastic to share your story. All the best for your trip to Europe, and we look forward to meeting in person and obviously cheering you across the finish line come Whaka 100 in October this year.
Thank you so much. It's been an absolute pleasure.
Brilliant. Well done, Amelie. Take care, and we'll catch up soon.
Thank you.
Thanks. See ya.